Hey guys, it's Freddie. Thanks for joining and watching Catching Up with the Runaways. We're going to talk about the series. This is spoiler territory, so just be aware. If you haven't watched the first 3 episodes of The Runaways on Hulu, go watch it first. It's 3 hours. And then come back here. We're going to talk about the episode, my thoughts about it, and where do we go from here. So, again, this is warning, fair warning, warning. Spoiler alert, okay? Again, this is Catching Up with the Runaways. Let's get started. All right, so it's finally happened. It's here. And Hulu actually surprised me, okay? They actually went ahead and released 3 episodes at one time, kind of like a mini binger, if you would. They usually release 1 episode at a time, but now we have 3. So it gave us a lot to watch. Honestly, I wasn't prepared to do 3 episodes at once, but it was great. I had a little viewing party, and we all enjoyed it. So we're going to keep coming back for more. And here today, we're going to discuss just the episode in general. Hopefully, as we do this, we'll have more interaction with you guys. Tell me what you think and what you want to hear. If you want more of like a quick summary of my thoughts, or if you want like theories, I'm going to try to shy away from really taking the comic book too much into account when it comes to this. I know that the comic was written over 10 years ago. Things have changed since then. Plus, you never can really adapt page to screen. It just doesn't really work that way. But let's dive right in. And episode 1. Episode 1, we meet the cast. But let me step back. We meet a girl, Diana. The girl has stars on her face, remember? So that whole interaction with her was kind of weird. We're like, well, why are we starting here? You know? I don't recall this ever even in the comics. And so we initially get a shot of her kind of being on her own. And then she could try to get... At least we find out that she is trying to be helped by these 2 cholos that are trying to help talk to her. It looks like the menace team looks like they're kind of mess with her. We don't know what's happening. Car pulls up and it's church of the Gibberim. Now the Gibberim in the comics weren't a church. They were a secret cult. You know, these gods, these Gibberims, these giant monsters that the Pride was really dealing with. But we get a church. And a nice blonde haired white lady saying, I'll help you. If it's not for you, you can leave. And that's our first look at where we're going with this. And so looking at it, not as a fan of the comic, just the show itself, kind of weird, kind of strange, or we don't know. Just very, it's inferring something, you know? And so we move on. We meet Alex. One of the main characters. Played really well. One of the initial responses from one of my friends that came and watched it was that he likes Alex. Alex is very heartfelt, thoughtful. Obviously, something's going on. You know, there's mention of something's happened. We're all rifting apart. We just can't. It's not like it was before. And even the parents have noticed that this guy has gone through something very different from the comics. And so we go through it and we find out that everyone's kind of feeling their own separate ways. You know. Alex, just in general, is just trying to get everybody back together. And again, they hint at some huge event. As we go through it, we see everybody's family. You know, we see Alex. We see how their parents interact. Then we see Chase, which was a little different than what I remember. I mean, Chase wasn't the smart guy. Chase was the muscle. He was a sports guy rebelling against his parents, which are scientists. So we see the Steins. And, him being... In the comics, his father was abusive. He physically would hit Chase. He would get into fistfights because of just arguments. And he was never good at school. But this version of Chase is very good at school. Not only that, he's hanging out with the cool kids and the jocks. And he's just kind of being the perfect, guy. Or, kind of like the perfect jock guy. Not just that, but just perfect guy in general, right? See him kind of deal with that and how the home is. It was... just a different look. And we move forward, we see Nico dealing with her, like, just the way she's dressed, the Wiccan kind of deal, the goth look, if you would. It just works, just from page to screen, and the rare occurrence looks great. Looks just like it. Pulled it off, right? I think she did great. She's phenomenal. I like her attitude. Her acting's great. One thing that I touch on here in a sec is just the attitude of the kids. I hate to call them kids because the way they speak and act and interact with each other, they're like full ass adults. They're almost too smart for their own good, you know. But hey, here we are. Moving along, we do run into Carolina. You know, we mentioned the church. She's part of that head family, and the church is led by her mother. And you know, you kind of see where it's almost like a religious cult type of deal. So that's the angle they're taking with the Gibberum. And so we'll see how that develops as we go. I kind of see how that can work as far as being put in reality in some sense, right? That stuff happens. You know, there are groups and different religions and beliefs, and you know, some people need an answer, and this seems to fit with what could happen, right? So it wasn't too fantastical in a Marvel show. Then we go through, you know, they go to school, and we see Gert with Molly. Now, Gert and Molly in the comics were not related at all. They're not here either. But one of the big kind of like what the fuck moments was they killed off Molly's parents. They don't really mention it, but Molly was adopted by Gert's family. And so Gert and Molly ride to school together and go to the same school. I guess they made Molly a little older just to kind of get them all in the same school, I'm guessing, because Molly was a little younger in the comics. But we meet them, and they are just typical teenage sisters, you know? They're giving each other a hard time, and then Molly kind of drops a hint about, hey, my body's hurting, I'm going through a change, and they kind of attribute it to her getting her period and becoming a woman and all that. But we eventually find out during her little dance competition that she's developing his superhuman strength. You know, it's showing off that she has an ability, a power. Touch back on Gert, because Molly's pretty straightforward. Young kid, youngest of the crowd, discovering who she is, literally discovering who she is. And you get a really cool scene later on where she's trying to test out her powers. I love it. Realistic, right? A kid, superpowers, they're going to try to test them out. Well, why not? Shit, I would. Try to pick up a car or push a bus in her case, a minibus. And Gert, here's my thing with Gert. Gertrude was in the comics like really freaking cool. Like, I dug her. I dug that they didn't make a character that was, you know, super thin and just, you know, super duper ditzy, or even, you know, just an atypical character. In this show, all the female characters are very strong, which is great. Breath of fresh air, right? It's not always the guys. Like, I love Jessica Jones because it was a woman that didn't give a fuck and kind of took shit by the balls, and it was a badass, you know, drunk. It wasn't the perfect person. She was just a person, and giving her strength as a woman, and she had superpowers, you know. These kind of go hand in hand in a way. But I digress. Gert was changed a little too much. They gave her too much of a voice. I know it sounds bad, so I'm just complimenting women here. She was too mouthy, more so than the comic, because in the comic she was sarcastic. She was very quick-witted, and she would drop in lines when it was needed. Same here, but almost more in your face. Like, let me make it really obvious that I'm Gert, and I'm gonna over-Gert myself here. But not only that, they really, no disrespect to the actress, you know, I would have liked to see someone a little heavyset, just to be kind of like Gert, just to give that, hey, we can have a hero that's not a super thin girl, that's super trendy. It's more so like, hey, my body image shouldn't be an issue. I don't want to shame anybody that's thin or otherwise, but I like the idea of her Gert not being the atypical, you know, female superhero. None of these girls are, but just in this case, I even had a friend kind of say like, wow, they changed her so much, where it wasn't about that. There's even a scene where she is like head over heels with Chase, looking at his butt and all that. It's funny, it's cute, right? It's fine, they're teenagers, but they're so obviously throwing this stuff around that she's into him, where in the book, it wasn't like that at all. They don't know each other, they don't really get along. Chase really played it off well. Hey, whatever, I don't know you, I don't want to be around you, it is what it is. She's literally just really wanting to be with Chase. She really likes this guy. And that kind of threw me, where Gert wasn't like that. And again, spoiler here, we're watching a spoiler cast. In the comics, you know, they do develop some type of relationship down the line, but not just because she already had a crush. No, it was something else there. It developed. And so I feel like they made Gert, they kind of, no pun intended here, stretched her a little too thin when it comes to, hey, let me make her super smart, super involved, woke, you know, whatever you want to call it, and also be very witty and sarcastic, and also be a big sister, and also be like a love interest, and all these things. They kind of really stretched her out, where all the other characters really kind of fit their role really well. They even have breakout moments like Carolina's trying to kind of find out who she is and break away from the church. She wants to rebel a little bit. That's great. People go through that. We all go through that. I like that about the Runaways in general. It's a coming of age thing, like I talked about in the other video. But Gert really threw me for a loop. I don't dislike the character. I don't know where they're going, if she's gonna develop a little more substance like the books. But again, my opinion, let me know what you think. Your notes, let me know what you think here in the comments. Okay? Moving down the line, again, Carolina, Alex, Nico, Chase, Molly, and Gert. We have them all, right? We get to see about them a little bit. We see how they interact. They really don't get along. Alex is trying again to get them all together. But the girl from the start of the show shows up at the church again. We're like, oh shit, it's you. I know you. And Diana becomes a pivotal character, even though she's not. Even in the comic, we do see her for a moment, one time. Again, not giving it away. We already know what's going on here since we watched the show. They're the one they kill her. They kill this girl to sacrifice her to Gibberum in the comics. And in this case, the Pride is really like dancing around what they're really working on. The Gibberum seems to be like, first, hold on, let's address the scary, weird, white zombie guy that Carolina's mom is taking care of, which I think is her dad. Because the great thing about the Runaways series as it is right now, I'm dissecting it as we go episode to episode here, but just in general, they're taking a lot of liberties that still seem to fit within the actual skeleton of the Runaways. Now, I know Brian K. Vaughan, that created it, kind of came on board and helped develop it, so that's good news. And I dig that they're really taking a focus away from the kids in certain episodes, because we'll jump right into the second episode. The first episode is the reveal, right? The kids eventually get together. They force them all together by some crazy events. They all end up hanging out together. We already know about the party with Chase. Well, by the way, that room, the rape room as we called it here at the house, what the fuck, man? That literally, how are you at someone's house party yet they have a room with just a random mattress, the walls are dingy and yellow? It's like a rape room, literally a rape room. And Chase comes in, stops all that, and we see a glimpse of the rainbow powers. Rainbow powers. Carolina. It's gonna be awesome. So, moving on, we get to the end, right? They discover what's going on. They all run to Chase to Alex's house because Molly saw something in the basement, which we saw a dinosaur. Gert got stood up by Chase, which is kind of a really dick move from Chase's part. And Chase and Carolina, he rescued her from the party. They go. Nico is dealing with her parents, just the whole situation, and we find out that Nico's sister died. That's really what it is. The group got splintered off once her sister died. We don't know how she died. Nico did not have a sister die in the comic books early on, and we don't know where they're going with it. Oh, and we also get a glimpse of the robotic fist that Chase is building on his little tablet at school. So I'm excited for the Fistigons. You know, that's gonna be awesome because that's a really cool power. But we're getting hints here and there. You know, second episode, this is what I want to really focus on, is that they really focus on the parents. Second episode is their perspective, how they see things, what their lives are. I always thought the Pride got along and they were fine for so many years because that's what the books kind of show. But this episode really twisted it because they are forced to work together for whatever this Pride cause is, which again, they've kind of changed up, so I don't know where they're going with it. They don't like each other. They don't like working with each other. They don't even want to do this. Whatever it is the Pride is and they're making them do in the show, they don't want to do it. They just don't. The only reason they do it is to keep their status or whatever deal they have going on. Because Nico's parents, obviously we saw what happened. We got Nico's mom really was really cold and frigid, I guess, with the death of the daughter. The dad was pushed away, so he said, fuck it. He ended up shacking up with Chase's mom, which is being abused by fucking Chase's dad, Mr. Stein, like Frankenstein. They're having like a hidden, relationship on the side. And then you have the other couples that just don't stand. They just don't like working with each other. It's a mess of people, but they have to interact. Why? We don't know yet. But obviously, we're gonna find out in later episodes why and what this construction site is they're building, because there's a big focus. We're breaking ground. We're doing this. What are they building? Are they building something for the Gibberum? Is the Gibberum that old man again? That old man, a scary, weird, white zombie-looking dude? We don't know. We just don't know. Now, we go through it. We discover, and this was weird too. Another throw back to the parent situation. Like, Carolina's, it was her dad or stepdad. I don't know, because it seems like it's her father, but they won't let him be involved. He's not in the Pride. He's not even allowed to be like a head member of the church. They're keeping him away. So that's going to be an issue there. He's trying to find his place there and kind of, get some power, right? His mom has all the power. As we go through it, what I noticed was just that the parents, when they talk about Molly and her parents' death, because they do bring it up, I want to know more. Why? What was the reason why they killed off her parents? They touch on it in the scene where they do a flashback of the kids being younger, and Alex's dad notices that Nico's mom has like a bandage on her hand, and she has magic, and they died in a house fire. So does that mean that Nico's parents killed them? Why? Why did they kill them off? There's something going on within the Pride altogether, or we don't know the details. But I'm excited to know that aspect. And the parents being a much larger focus now, because in the books, we never heard anything beyond basic little information. The Runaways take off, they do their own thing, adventure happens, right? Gibberum. But in this case, the parents are like, we're getting deep storylines. We're getting realistic storylines with marital issues, abuse, even Gert's parents are experimenting on different things, and they even say, oh shit, we're helping out these people, we're hurting people to get what we've done, and they want to help people instead. They're all in bed together, figuratively and literally. And why? I want to know. That's the big factor right now, because the kids themselves are discovering more and more. Obviously, we got Nico playing with not playing, but just really trying to figure out what the Staff of One does. We had that whole scene with the snow. And then, of course, we had Molly really using her powers when Alex's mom suspects. When they find the pin, that was like an oh shit moment. When they found her hairpin, and Molly really stepped up the game. I thought she was going to get kidnapped, whatever that weird serum is. We don't know. Again, some weird serum we have to discover about. But Molly held her own. She lied the right way, just giving enough information. And she pulled it off. But she saw her powers again, but she's not able to use them enough because she passes out. What is that? That's scary. She escapes out the bathroom, which honestly, that bathroom scene bugged me, because I'm like, there are women outside waiting, and you tore up a toilet, and you broke bars from a window, and no one wondered what's going on. Everything's cool? Whatever. TV, right? Then from there, she kidnaps her. Alex's mom takes her in the Range Rover to some like side of the freeway, hidden away, some dead end, with some weird liquid gas gun. What is that about? So I'm digging where like the Pride doesn't give a fuck. Like they really care about their kids. They do, because they're their kids. But as soon as something comes up about the Pride, they change. Their mode changes. Same thing with Alex's dad dealing with those gangbangers, the Rolling 20s, which I love because it's a realistic gang. It's a real thing in LA that they're really playing on, and dealing with the extortion deal with his old gang member. One guy kind of taking care of the other guy. It's bad dealings. I love it. I love that whole mafia mob vibe, gang versus mob kind of vibe that the Wilders give off with the gangbangers in the neighborhood. But it's just a lot going on. I don't know what you guys think, but what is it that they're building? They said it's a school, but every single like couple has been talking about breaking ground and building this thing, whatever it is they're building. But moving on here quick, the last episodes where they tried to kill this girl, they put Diana into the pod thing that Stein couldn't figure out. And I was surprised when Stein's cleaning up, they do their thing in that flash of light, and that girl's still inside alive. That was a big like, oh shit moment, right? And so Stein was working on this machine, and I guess his ego wouldn't let him admit, hey, I messed up, something's wrong. So then to find him freak out and stuff her back in the machine and try to get her home and just do this, great moment. opens up a lot more scenarios, more drama. It's like, it's really good drama. A lot of twists, a lot of turns. I dig it. 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 From there, we get to that crazy zombie guy, remember? Just like that zombie king from like Game of Thrones a little bit. Just saying. But with that weird mask. Something's wrong. He didn't get his fed, which is what we got the girl. And then everybody's freaking out because now, hey, there's a problem here. Carolina starts asking questions like, where's Diana? I have her number. I text her. They get that fake, obvious Photoshop because we know what's going on. That she's in London, you know? As we go through it, you know, we see everybody kind of dealing with the situation of somebody probably knows. And at the same time, you have the kids looking for Diana. Like, hey, you know what? She's probably at my dad's lab. So they go check the lab. That's where Chase gets the x-ray specs. We have a cool scene where, you know, it's trying to check everybody out. Girl puts them on and checks out Chase, you know, whatever. Guy, boy, girl stuff. You can kind of see they're budding something there, which is obvious. At this point, they'll go look for the dinosaur. That's what's going to happen. We all know at this point, Gert and a dinosaur. There's some connection there, and I'm going to go ahead and spoil something for you. Yes, there is a connection there. They changed this. In the comics, Gert and the team show up looking for information, trying to see if the girl that was killed, Diana, was still held there. So they show up and stumble upon a hologram and a dinosaur running in there. Turns out Gert can control it. They're telepathically linked, and whatever she talks to her or tells her to do, she'll do. It's like her own personal bodyguard, but like a dinosaur. It's awesome. The comic books made it seem like, hey, this is your dinosaur. We got it from the future, and we're time travelers, by the way. And some hero killed us, so now you got to take over and avenge our death. Go to the Wilders. They're going to help you. And that's all I'm going to say for now. But totally different now. We show up. Chase opens up the door because he can't see through it. Makes sense. Lead, door, on board. Good. Science. And then we get dinosaur runs through. Scares him, and then Gert starts praying or something, and then the animal stops and takes off. And so we get to see the dinosaur. It looks great. I think it looks great. For a TV show to look that good, the budget must have been pretty high. So it's really well done. I enjoyed it. It looks really, really good. Then we skip the next morning. We get that phone call. Say, turn on the TV. A body washes up on the shore, and it's Diana, the girl that was stuffed into the pod. Now everybody knows she didn't die. Something happened at the pod. Stein's gonna be in deep shit. And the kids are still discovering themselves. But I had a cool scene with Nico and Alex, which I really dug. When Nico calls Alex over to help her clean up her snow debacle thing. I love that they kissed, but I almost feels forced. It should have. I never saw any chemistry beyond just the initial, hey, I really want to talk to you. We didn't know. There was no hint at that. I felt that they were romantically involved. I know they were friends, and Alex is very, concerned about the friends in the group, but never figured that they were romantically involved, at least initially. Who knows? It's just me not reading things the right way. But I dug the whole idea of mom's coming home, and why didn't they just leave, first of all? Because the machine tells them, oh, Alpha user, which is mom, is almost home. Why go run into the room, pretend you're making out, which was great throwaway. Hey, kids being kids, right? Teenagers being teenagers. It worked out. They're not going to suspect anything. But they should just left. There's no reason why she had to go through all that. But hey, whatever. They kiss. Thought it was cute. Dug it. Thumbs up on my part. We'll see where it goes. But to go back to the end, everybody knows now. Nico's mom calls Carolina's mom and says, check out the news. It's Diana's body. Now we're freaking out. We learned early on in those episodes, remember, because Carolina's mom was like, I don't want to do this, because the girl had a daughter. And so she wanted to leave, and it was just like the perfect scenario for her to just really get rid of her now. Because if she left, she'll tell her about the church, and who knows, she may lose her chance because they needed a sacrifice. And then we get that whole news. Stein is going to be fucked. We don't know how the kids are going to end up with this, or how they're going to take it if they stand now is dead. Now they know they've killed her. Something's going on. And of course, the zombie guy, we don't know what he's about too. So I know I kind of rushed through a lot, but I am digging the show. I like it a lot. Overall, I recommend it. I think that we have to step back if you're a fan of the series or the comics and let some of that go. It is a difference adapting something from 10 years ago to today. If you want to keep it contemporary with teenagers, I get it. Hey, we were dumb kids once. These kids are a little smarter than we are, and sure, it's a TV show, so yeah, you can write them smart. The only qualm will be that I think they're a little too smart, but it's a cartoon and fleshed out by people, So I'm okay with that. Gert, hopefully she grows on me. I was one of my favorite characters. Just her whole interaction, her development in the books. We'll see how she goes here. And then Molly, being the kid, discovering a new toy, her powers. We'll see how that takes off because she's a little older now. So you guys should go check out the Runaways. If you watch this just to get a summary, you kind of got a summary from me, but you really got to watch the show to make everything kind of connect and geek out with me and freak out about it. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Which of the episodes was the strongest for you? What do you guys think they're going to go with Diana? That was not a thing in the book at all. Is Chase and, because it seems like Chase and Gert are kind of build up their relationship, but do you guys think it's a little forced? Let me know in the comments below, okay? Share this video, like it, and subscribe here to Stray Relay. We're going to keep doing this as the episodes release. Hopefully they can release one at a time now, so I can do one video at a time for every episode. The 3 arc is great just to binge watch with people and yourself, but it's hard to kind of summarize every 3 episodes in one small video without overdoing it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Share this video with anybody else that's interested in watching the show or has watched it. That way you all can join the conversation. Follow us here on YouTube at Stray Relay. You can follow us on Facebook, look up Stray Relay, and also Twitter at Stray Relay. I'll start posting information on there for you all to follow us, and of course, keep us involved in the conversation. Hopefully the next time I have more people with me, I think I'm going to start bringing someone on, starting to talk about and their ideas and their thoughts about the show and where it's going. I like it. If you guys like this type of video, let me know. I want to see what works here. If this is what you like or want something a little more in depth, if you really want me to nitpick it and tear it apart or why it's different or not, I can do that, but let me know. Thanks again for watching. Have a great night, and next time we'll catch up with the Runaways, and I hope you join. Lates.